Oxford, one of the oldest universities in the world. It was here in Oxford that the Museum of Natural History played host to one of the best-known stories in the conflict between science and faith. In 2010, the museum unveiled this monument to the great debate that took place between Thomas Huxley and Sэмüélom Wilberfors on the 30th of June 1860. It was a historic moment. Darwin's great book on the origin of species had been published 7 months earlier, in November 1859. That June, the British Association for the Advancement of Science held its annual meeting in Oxford. As everyone knows, this famous debate was a turning point in the conflict between science and faith. But what everyone knows about it is wrong. So what did happen? We need to understand the background.
Well, we have the popular story. We have a debate on evolution. You have the Bishop of Oxford, Sэмüélom Wilberfors, an old, doddering, old reactionary, Bible-thumping fundamentalist. And he's going to go on about Darwin and say what evil things Darwin was saying and so on. And then you have the bright, young Thomas Henry Hakсли, Darwin's bulldog, who leaps up and absolutely demolishes the bishop in his argument. The audience laugh. The audience are delighted, liberated at last. We can now proclaim our ancestry with the monkeys. Hallelujah. I've read that story many times. I've seen it on TV. It is about as true as snowballs in hell.
And so it wasn't until Darwin's book was actually published in book form in 1859 that things started to happen with evolutionary theory and sort of the public debate surrounding it. Several reviews were published in the periodical press, several written by Darwin's bulldog, Henry Huxley himself, many anonymous. Many of Darwin's friends, such as Huxley, published reviews. And many of his enemies published reviews as well, most notably Richard Owen, which in some ways surprised him because it was a bit more violent than he was expecting. He knew he wasn't going to appreciate his theory entirely, but it was a really nasty review, and Darwin was quite hurt by it.
When Darwin's theory was first published, the scientific evidence for it was open to challenge. A lot of people did challenge it on scientific grounds, not religious grounds. One of these was Richard Owen, the leading biologist of the day.
In 1860, the British Association for the Advancement of Science was having its week-long jamboree meeting in Oxford. This was one of the great, what we call, holidays for the Victorian thinking classes. Here you had not only scientists, but you also had journalists, pundits, writers, clergy, lots and lots of clergy coming along to these meetings. And also, too, something else at the time. Oxford, in the end of June, it's the end of the academic year. In those days, there were no women in the university. It was an entirely all-male institution. The young gentlemen had just taken their exams, and traditionally there followed a period of entertainment. Balls, dances, concerts. Mother and Dad would come up and bring up the family. And they'd bring up the young sisters. One of the way the Victorian marriage market worked is that you would bring up the sons at the university, the daughters, to meet their sons' friends, make sure that the young girls fell in love with proper gentlemen who were after all related to their brothers and so on. So you have on the one hand Oxford in high summer holiday spirit, plus the scientists. You've got a formula for fun, not for conflict or mayhem or murder, but for fun. And we have to see this so-called debate in this context.
Next time we'll find out more about the leading contestants in the Great Debate, Thomas Huxley and Sэмüélom Wilberfors.